Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. What the hell did we just watch? I mean, the beginning of the game was so embarrassing, whether it was Seymour with the headshot, there was that fumble that Doug Pederson did not challenge the play, and I wonder if using a timeout so early was one of the reasons why he failed to look at that. You had the almost pick six happen from Jalen Hurts, the safety because of the intentional grounding, the block punt. It was so miserable, but I do have to give Jalen Hurts and this team credit for settling down, for taking some deep breaths and allowing themselves to get back into the action. Even though I give them credit for doing it, they also started the game out so slow, and ultimately that costed them. If you look at how the game ended, there's no doubt about it. The Eagles were the better team at times, and they got flow. They had rhythm. The defense came up with turnovers, big fourth down stops, you name it. So they shot themselves in the foot early, and ultimately that was enough for them to lose the football game. They still had many chances to win it, even with that occurring. But you go back and you go, damn it, fellas, damn it. It shouldn't have been that to begin with. They came out so flat and so awful to the point where I questioned, where was this Jalen Hurts spark? Did it fizzle out that quickly? I didn't expect it to, and it didn't. Clearly, we saw how the game finished and how he was putting the team on his back. Third quarter, big drive. At one point, it was, 3rd and 30? They throw a little screen. They make it 4th and manageable. They go for it on 4th. He uses his legs. He gets a big touchdown to make it 26-26. So he was definitely a huge factor to the success throughout. They had a winnable football game, and they weren't able to complete the task. And I'm hearing all of this fantastic stuff about Hurts, and I think it's the right way to feel about the kid. But I also have a huge question as well, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. First, we are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I also want to take this opportunity to let you know I am doing a giveaway right now. That is right. If you head over to my Twitter, at Brodes81, you will see at the top of my profile there is a pinned tweet. I'm giving away a free 76ers hat. All you need to do is retweet that tweet and follow me, and we will be implementing so many more giveaways throughout the season, Sixer season, Flyer season, rest of the Eagle season, forever, really. So stay tuned, hit that follow button. You will be entered to win with such a simple task. So head over there and make sure you take care of business. All right, so my question is, when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I don't really know what to do with this information. That's my problem. So everything we're saying about Jalen Hurts, he's a gamer. He's got it. You know, the team loves him. Looks like a leader. We've all said this about Carson Wentz. Now, I know right now, in the time that we are in, people will deny that, but there was a time where we looked at Carson Wentz. This kid keeps you involved in the game. He is a gamer. The guys love him. He rallies. He's a dog. He extends plays. When you think there's nothing there, he makes something happen. He utilizes his legs. He extends the plays, roll to the right, and he finds somebody. We said all these fantastic, phenomenal comments about Carson Wentz in the past, and we see where we are now, no? Well, with Jalen Hurts after 2 football games, yeah, we are excited, and we are saying great things about him, and we deserve to say great things about him because that's what we're seeing. And that's why I asked the question, what do we do with this information? I don't even know what to do with it. And you even heard the post-game show going back and forth about it as well, because Michael Barkant's so juiced up. But then you have someone like Ray Didinger, and you got someone like Brooks talking as if, yo, fellas, it's 2 games. And no one's downplaying what he's doing. It's awesome. But what do you have here? Is a 4-game sample size, and this is something that I brought up even before Jalen Hurts got the official nod, questioning when Doug Pederson would ever pull the trigger on Carson Wentz. I said, when Jalen Hurts, or if Jalen Hurts ever does start, what do you do with the 4-game sample size when it comes to next season? And I really don't want to get into the long-term things, but seriously, though, I think it's fair to look at it and say, well, we said very similar things about a franchise quarterback that now we're viewing as a dumpster fire and a joke because he fell off the face of the earth. We're saying the same things about this guy. You could take it for what it is. But wow, talk about the start to this game. I mentioned Seymour's hit, stupid hit to the head, 15-yard penalty. You also had Derek Barnett. What a joke. What a total dumbass decision to just hit DeAndre Hopkins as he was going out of bounds late. How moronic can you be? How pathetic can you be? And first off, that's their number one guy. You don't think anyone's going to react? You don't think anyone's going to throw the flag? Not that it matters who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. If you hit him out of bounds that late, you're going to get a flag thrown on you. But where's the IQ? He's known to do this. This is something Derek Barnett does. He gets the personal fouls. He tacks on 15 yards because he's not a smart player. I can't wait for him to be out of this organization, to be honest with you. But you had that. Listen to this 3-play sequence. You had the Derek Barnett late hit out of bounds. You had a Mills missed tackle on the next play. And then, boom, you got a Kyler Murray touchdown. So, before you blink, it's 9-0. You blink once, it's 16-0 because of the blocked punt. It was so brutal, laughable. It hurt. I was in pain. It was to the point where it's so hard and it's so brutal that it makes you laugh. You're laughing because you are very uncomfortable with what you are witnessing. But they did fight back. And I thought the Eagles got a little lucky in this scenario, but sometimes you need luck. And at the same time, I always yell at Doug Pederson for not helping out his players. Some of these players have limited skill sets. Well, with those limited skill sets, put them in a position to succeed. Well, that's what kind of happened when they scored their first touchdown. It was third and super long, and it was almost as if Doug Pederson said, let's take the points. It is 16-0. We can maybe get a field goal. It's third and long. Let's try and get some yards, and we'll kick a field goal. Hopefully, Jake Elliott makes it to get some sort of points on the board so we can feel good about ourselves. But what ends up happening is they throw the ball to Quez Watkins. He has a nice spinorama move right around the line of scrimmage, and he goes to the house. Bang! He takes it to the house. Take advantage of a situation. You know, that play call was clearly a safe, hold on a second, this is getting out of hand. Let's not let it get out of hand too early. But this is what I've been screaming about for how long? You have speed guys. You have players, whether it's Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, John Hightower. You have guys that are just flat out fast as hell. So put the ball in their hands. Let them operate in space. Give them the football and allow for them to go out, see the field, and do what they want to do. Allow them to get a groove by just utilizing their speed and letting their legs go to work. And that's what ended up happening with Quez Watkins. So while I don't think Doug anticipated that to be a touchdown play call, he utilized Quez Watkins' strengths, and that allowed for that to even happen. So you got to tip your cap there. They end up getting 7 points, made it 19-7. Look, the defense thing is so funny to me, and shame on Seth Joyner, because he gave the most Seth Joyner response ever after the game. He's such in player mode sometimes, and it pisses me off, I'm not going to lie. He was so angry with Jim Schwartz because DeAndre Hopkins had 9 receptions, 169 yards, and a touchdown. And could Jim Schwartz do other things to maybe double team a DeAndre Hopkins so it's not as easy for him? Sure, no doubt about it. But if you looked at this game, right, first off, the billion practice squad players out there, Jaquette, Seymour, you had a mess out in that secondary. Roby Coleman playing outside, guys 4'2" playing outside. It's an embarrassment every single week that we watch him do that. So with all of the circumstances for after the game, when your defense had how many turnovers? An interception by Marcus Epps. And did Kyler Murray throw it right at him? Yeah, you know what? He did throw it at him. But guess what? There was a good coverage call, and he was standing in that part of the end zone for a damn reason. So Marcus Epps had the interception. Roby Coleman and Jaquette ended up getting in on a fumble situation. They turned the ball over, so the Eagles' offense barely had to go any amount of yards. They had a 4th down stop. How many times did Kyler Murray end up fumbling the ball? Look, that defense, even though they allowed a certain amount of points, and it's not the total amount of points, what did they finish with, 33 or so? There was also that block punt, which played a huge role in the Cardinals scoring 7 points. I'm not saying this was just some outstanding A-plus performance by the defense, but to shred the defense after the game because what DeAndre Hopkins did, you're going to toast these practice squad guys that weren't even in the NFL just a couple of weeks ago. That's just reality. So you want to end up bracketing him off so he doesn't beat you, so someone else beats you. Someone else is going to beat you. Did you see the play that Larry Fitzgerald made? I mean, I just hate that the alternative automatically means, well, your practice squad player would have shut down the other guy. What Jim Schwartz did in this game, I have zero complaints. Think about the turnovers. This defense hasn't turned over the damn ball at all season long. And here comes this defense that's hanging on thread, literally hanging by a thread. And they're turning the ball over. You know, it's ugly at times. I get it. There's some matchups you're not thrilled about, but you have your hands tied behind your back. If you walk away from this game all fired up about Jim Schwartz, and I'm shocked because I thought heading into this, it would be an obvious fire Jim Schwartz reaction, and you do get guys that are not happy with him after this, but come on. I mean, the guys are out there fighting as hard as they can. Alex Singleton, they all have limitations, but at the end of the day, I thought this defense held the minute. They battled. They turned the football over. Shame on Seth Joyner, in my opinion. Shame on him. All right, so Doug Pederson definitely gambled a couple times in this game, and some hit, some did not hit. When you did get that turnover by Roby Coleman, getting the ball, Kyler Murray, Jaquette, it had to go to 4th and 3. Made me a little uncomfortable. I didn't know if you wanted to take the points at that time, although knowing Doug Pederson, I assumed he would stay with the offense, and maybe something had to do with Jake Elliott not having such a great performance this season. I do wonder how much confidence he has in the guy, considering he misses everything at this point. So many different times, this guy goes up to the plate, if you will, and he shanks one to the left, he hits the post, he hits the pole, and you know, once you got down to when you didn't even have your placeholder, you were going to be holding on to your chair a little bit tighter. And unfortunately, it was a big-time moment. There was even a moment before that played a role into that moment. And if I'm not making sense right now, I promise it will in just a little bit. But let's get to that play that I'm talking about now on 4th and 3. It was a really solid gamble by Doug Pederson. It ended up working out. Touchdown throw from Jalen Hurts to Greg Ward. Awesome throw, awesome catch. It made the game 19-14. Now, the Cardinals got another touchdown from there. Here's the thing. The score was 26-20 at half. The Eagles' offense was able to move the football. They were able to get some plays going. Well, when you look after the first half was over, 18 passes, 16 rushes. 12 for Miles Sanders, 4 for Jalen Hurts. So a great way of displaying what you can do in the passing game and what you can do in the running game. I don't think it's just a coincidence that, one, you had success in the first half by doing it, and two, you go from scoring 20 points to only 6 points in the second half when you shy away from the run game. And keep in mind, for all the people that think, oh, well, the only reason why Doug had to throw it so much with Carson is because they were down. Well, they were down 16-0 in this game. And that was something I questioned heading into it, because I see Lamar Jackson all the time struggle when they are playing down, when they are playing from behind, because of the style of the offense, the way he runs, the way they ask him to make plays. I looked at that and said, how is Doug then going to apply an offense when you're down with Jalen Hurts, knowing that something that he does so well is the read option and utilizing the run game between Miles Sanders and him? How can you still implement that when you are down double digits or when you're just down 7 points? They did a great job of it. But then they got away from it. And towards the end, yeah, you know what? Jalen Hurts was passing the ball well. Some of that was just because he was passing the ball so damn well. And the other part was, all right, you had a lot of the defense playing back, playing prevent defense late. And then you had a couple shots downfield towards the end. And yeah, you know what? That play by Jalen Hurts throwing it to Dallas Goedert in the end zone, that has to be caught. That was a dime. That was a phenomenal throw. It was very well executed. It was right where Dallas Goedert can make the play. He needs to come down with it. That reminded me of a few years back when you talk about the Eagles versus the Lions. Nelson Aguilar down the left sideline, dropped right into the breadbasket by Wentz. He flat out missed it. Boom. Or was that the Falcons game? That might have been the Falcons game. I forget if that was Falcons or Lions. There were some insane missed drops throughout the beginning of that season and throughout the entire season, really. Regardless, though, that's what it felt like. Your quarterback made a play, but your playmaker did not help him out at all. Not even a little bit. They tried it again after that, and that shows you a problem, though, right? I feel when you're going in the middle of the field, in that type of atmosphere where there's a lot of defenders because you want to go to one of your better playmakers, isn't that kind of showing you the lack of talent on the outside? I'm not saying they absolutely are the worst ever, because you see that some of these players are making plays more than they were with Carson Wentz. You can't deny that. So, yeah, these guys are making some plays, but game time moments, I'd rather be living with some playmakers on the outside than having to go inside like that where you're pretty much putting your tight end in the middle of the field with these guys right in coverage. You see these catches DeAndre Hopkins makes? You see what Larry Fitzgerald does at the back of the end zone? Must be nice to have skill players. Must be nice to have lethal weapons. And yeah, I know, they don't make them like DeAndre Hopkins. He is 1 in a billion. But there's plenty of guys in between DeAndre Hopkins and what you have as well. You need to find something else, because they're difference makers. They change the outcome of games. How about Alshon, though, speaking of wide receivers? Bad day for Patrick Pederson. To get shredded the way that you got shredded by Alshon, that is so laughable. That's bad. I told you, the secondary for the Cardinals, they have pieces, they have names, but they're beatable. They're not this outstanding, stellar, crazy, phenomenal defense. They have names, but they are a beatable secondary. You can have success running the ball on them, too. That's where you probably have more success. But in this game, it worked out where you had a lot of plays that you can make in the passing game. Patrick Pederson just got shelled and embarrassed by an aging Alshon. And, of course, Alshon makes some plays. He had that one play down the left sideline where he was completely wide open, although the replay showed that he pushed off or didn't push off. They never really got back to the replay, but it looked like he sort of shoved the corner there, and it allowed him to get wide open, though. I'm not really complaining whatsoever. But this game seriously had it all. Jalen Hurts, I will say there is a fumbling problem. He is constantly losing the ball. Now, in one scenario, he fumbled the football. He still picked it up, made a great play as he was getting pressured. I mean, seriously, doesn't that kind of remind you when you watch that play? And this is how I tie it to what I asked in the beginning on, isn't this what we were saying about Carson Wentz? When I watched that play where he fumbled the ball, picked it up, still got his eyes downfield, and made a play by the sideline, I thought, wow, Houdini. Houdini. Well, who the hell did we used to call Houdini? And what happened to him? So I just don't know what to do with that data. I don't know what to do with that film. I'm encouraged. I'm intrigued. He has the swag. He's got the attitude. He's got the team believing in him. No doubt about it. But it doesn't mean that this organization just has this no-brainer of a choice. They put themselves here, and they have this miserable debacle with the quarterback getting paid a lot of money. And before the game, Adam Schefter's tweeting about Carson Wentz doesn't want to be here in Philly. And there's so many ways to dissect this. And he said he doesn't want to be here in Philly to be the backup. But there's so many ways to kind of look at this. Who reported this? That's the wrong question. Adam Schefter obviously reported it, but who would want this leaked? Is it Carson Wentz's camp so then other teams can maybe try and put a package together and pick up Howie Roseman's phone and call Howie Roseman's phone? Like, what is the point of getting this out there? And also for other people bashing, this guy stinks, he sucks, he's pathetic, he's soft mentally. Jalen Hurts was not okay with being the backup at Alabama. Now, at one point he battled through it, but what did he do at the end of the day? He left. He wanted to go play. He did not want to sit there and be a backup, so he went and left the school to play for another school. So who cares if Carson Wentz is unhappy, as if this is even a story? Obviously, the guy is not thrilled, and you wouldn't be either, no matter what your job is. No matter if you're an accountant, if you're someone who works at ShopRite, if you're someone who works in accounting, you name it. If someone's taking over your job in whatever you do, you're going to be disappointed. You might look elsewhere. You might look at other companies. Just how it works. So the whole story and the debates about what this means and who's saying this and Carson Wentz is soft because he's unhappy for being a backup, it's all nonsense. It really is. It's a flat-out embarrassment, if you ask me. You know what's not an embarrassment? Utilizing DraftKings. If anything, it's the greatest thing that you can do in your life. The 2020 basketball season is here. The teams around the league took the offseason to retool and revamp and are ready to hit the court. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, has rolled out another one of their can't-miss offers. Trying DraftKings Sportsbook is easy, so what are you waiting for? Get in on all of the action now. To celebrate the return of basketball, DraftKings is giving new players 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's right. All you have to do is bet $1 on any featured matchup this week, and if your team wins, you cash a crisp $100. While we are all excited for the return of basketball, let's not forget about football's playoffs are right around the corner, so head to the app and check out all the daily odds boost. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when signing up to get 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's code Brodes for new players to get a shot at $100 on any featured matchup this week. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's just talk about this real quick, because I know it was a hot item when it came to the game. Aqib Talib in the media, in the broadcast. So many people hated it. So many people were disgusted by it, weren't thrilled. I kind of liked it. You know, it was a little out of the box, I'm not going to lie to you, but I almost liked it. It was intriguing. Hearing him and listening to him speak about some of the matchups and the secondary guys. Now, obviously, he has a bias to the secondary players, talking about Patrick Pederson, talking about the Eagles being in man, who's in man coverage and cover three. But I liked it. I liked that it was out of the ordinary, not your standard professional, legit A-plus color commentator. Sign me up for more Aqib Talib. But it's funny, I had people in my family who never hit me up during games specifically texting me about the broadcast, which I thought was so funny. As if you're really reaching out to me right now because of Aqib Talib. They were like, who is this guy? Who's on the call? This guy's moronic. And I'm sitting here by myself thinking, what are you talking about? I actually enjoy him. But I feel I'm in the minority based off of the reactions and the disgust from some of the comments he said. But sign me up. Sign me up for more Aqib Talib. You know what shouldn't be signed up for? 6 sacks. We shouldn't be signed up for 6 more sacks. No. And some of those sacks coming late, getting crushed. Oh, damn! Matt Pryor on the right side. I never feel great when Matt Pryor's in the game. What happened to this kid? You had so many penalties, though. You had so many issues throughout the game. I think Nate Herbig ended up getting his number called as well. You had some sloppiness involved. There was a time throughout the game, though, where the offensive line, I thought, did a good job, and they had some good flow. They had some good rhythm, but towards the end, it got a little sloppy, and Jalen Hurts got sacked a couple times. The big drive, though, that stood out to me the most was the third quarter. It was 3rd and 30-ish. It made it 4th and 6, and Hurts gets just a big-time first down and just willing to put it all out on the line. And the thing that's different for me when it comes to his mobility is he's not just a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson, where he's flying and he's super quick and he's thin, and he's got some thickness to him. He's got some girth to him, to the point where you gotta lay a hit. You gotta put some meat onto the tackle, or he's gonna bounce right off of you. So yeah, he's mobile and he can use his legs and he can grab the first down and he can play make when things aren't available, but it's also hard to take him down. He's not an easy guy to bring down all the way. And I'm not gonna say it's the same as Cam Newton or it's the same as Big Ben, these thicker guys, but it has that feel to it where it's not easy. All right, you're going to need 3 guys to take him down. There's 3 guys jumping on him. You hear the whistle. trying to get everyone to get off of him, but you just can't because he's mowing people with them. Those type of moments I saw a couple times. That third quarter drive was nuts. There was also early in the game, there was a nice drive where I thought the Eagles got into rhythm and they were moving the ball. But I did think that Doug Pederson got away from the run more in the second half. For Miles Sanders to have 12 carries early in that game for the first half, and then essentially you move away from him a bit. And I know you're down in the game, but not really. At one point it was 26-26. And I talked about Doug Pederson's gamble. All right, so when did he kick that PAT? He kicked the PAT. Oh, right before that. That was when you had an awesome play by Jalen Hurts to Greg Ward in the back of the end zone. One angle looked like he had his feet in, and you could see the green line, the green in front of his foot that would make it inbounds. And remember, the call on the field was he was out of bounds. So with that being said, I didn't know if there was enough evidence to overturn it. One angle looked like you had at least an opportunity to call it a touchdown, but the other three angles, I didn't know if you could tell if his front toe was hitting the white out of bounds paint or not. So realistically, if you ask me, I probably would have went stand. I would have stayed with the call on the field, even though one angle might have gave me it, the other angles didn't. So I just didn't know if I would have had the power to actually overturn it. They did, and I'm glad. That was phenomenal. That made the score 26-20. Now, it could have been 26-21. They nailed the extra point, but they elect to accept the penalty, go for it for two to make it 26-22 possibly. They don't get it. Miles Sanders gets stuffed. I don't understand the thought process, and that comes up so big later because when you have the debacle of not having your placeholder there in Cam Johnson, you have Zach Ertz back there instead, it's 26-26 because you botched that extra point. Now, if you would have made and kept that extra point earlier instead of taking the penalty and trying to go for two, you would have been up 27-26 at that point. Now, we know how the rest of the game played out. Arizona scored anyway, but still, you're talking about late in the game. You could have been up 1 point instead of it being tied. And now you're in such a problem because you don't have your punter and you don't have your field goal holder that you're so limited at that point. Take the points, dog. There's no reason to think so smart. The difference was what? A 5-point game or a 4-point game? I don't understand that. So he had a couple gambles that ended up working. 4th and 3, touchdown to Greg Ward. The third down drive, which was electric. But I didn't love what that was. I don't understand it. You put it through. You had the points. Backfired. I didn't think Doug had his strongest game, to be honest with you. There were many really interesting calls, whether it was these option plays. I mean, sometimes I'm just a little confused on what he's doing. And I'm someone who's saying, run the ball more, Doug, run the ball more. So me being upset with some of these read option plays, how does that make sense, Brodes? Well, there's plenty of ways to utilize the run. There's plenty of ways to be able to get Miles Sanders going where it doesn't always have to be these read options in certain areas. And I did think early when they were running the read options, because remember, basically, you have Jalen Hurts reading the field and reading the play where he can keep it, he can give it away. There were times where I thought he was giving it to Miles Sanders where I thought, hey, Jalen, you probably had a better opportunity to get to where you wanted to be, to get that first down, to get a couple extra yards, but he elected early to go to Sanders. I thought he had to settle in. He had some tough moments. Realistically, that should have been a pick six early, at least an interception on that first drive where he took the safety. That stuff can't happen. You know, you got lucky, and you had a chance to live another day. He ended up taking a safety on that chance to live another day. But I do need to praise him for how he did allow the game to slow down. The pace kind of came to him. The game came to him. And from there, he just stepped up and he had an awesome stretch from that moment. He really did. Now, he left some throws out there and you can look at it and say it's his second start. He will get better. There were some inaccuracy issues and all for sure, but there were also great plays where he's just allowing his receiver to go make a play. He's betting on his receiver to go out there and do something. Jalen Reagor looks to be a little bit more of something now than he was with Carson Wentz. I think that there's this trust factor that Jalen Hurts has for some of his receivers. Now, there was a moment where Patrick Pederson wasn't really paying attention and Jalen Reagor failed to get that much separation, and I'm just a little frustrated with him at times because this guy's supposed to have speed. This guy's supposed to be this elite weapon for you when it comes to speed. Not so much in terms of like DeAndre Hopkins' elite weapon, but you drafted him because he had this game-changing speed. And here you go, Patrick Peterson's not even paying attention. Get a burst! Go! Explode! And he had a step on him. Not as much separation as he should have had. And Jalen Hurts ended up overthrowing him towards the right sideline. That stuff can't happen. I do expect more out of Jalen Reagor, although we are getting more than what we saw out of him when Wentz was under center. There's no denying that. Reagor did end up getting injured, though. That's not good. Now, this is a handful of times now where he's banged up. He was hurt in the beginning of the season, came back, rapid paced. He had the surgery, came back, pretty quick pace. Then here, also a little bit destroyed from the physicality, so we will see what that means moving forward. But all around, very entertaining game. Edge of my seat, wild. One of those ones where you're blown away. And you're not really surprised with everything that's happening, whether it's Arizona making mistakes, Kyler Murray all over the place. I thought he tried to do too much. He was fumbling the football left and right, throwing interceptions right into the middle of the field, right into Epps' hands. I mean, he made a bunch of mistakes on the other end as well. Now, give credit to the defense for forcing that to happen. Give credit to Jim Schwartz. My guy. So funny. So many people tweet at me all game long after something happens. Your guy stinks, Brodes. How many turnovers? Over the last handful of games, this guy in Jim Schwartz, with limited resources, kept this offense in it. And I know, 33 points. What are you talking about? Well, context matters. It does. It's not as simple as just, how many points did you let up? Well, how many turnovers? How many times did they do something to then allow the offense to help them out and produce points as well? You wouldn't even have the 26 if it wasn't for the defense creating those opportunities and keeping Arizona off the board at times. I'm not saying it was a perfect game because it definitely wasn't a perfect game, but going in there with a bunch of scrap and a bunch of Band-Aids, if I told you this would have been the scenario, you would have took that a million times out of a million times. And speaking of a million, if you have a million pieces of hair on your balls, listen up. 2020 sucked, and it's almost the new year, which means new balls with their sponsored Manscaped. Manscaped is best in men's below-the-waist grooming, offering precision-engineered tools for your family jewels and helping 2 million men around the world get rid of the hair on their balls. You want a fresh start in 2021. So get the Perfect Package 3.0. It starts with a Lawnmower 3.0. Its waterproof, skin-safe trimmer reduces nicks to your two best friends. The Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant comes in this perfect package. The Crop Reviver ball toner spray. The Shed travel bag. The anti-chafing boxer briefs. A guy with hairy balls is like the year 2020, by the way. Don't be that guy. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. And I just want to throw in right here as well, Orbit Energy and Power. They've been a sponsor of mine forever from the start. They are awesome. If you are looking to provide any sort of upgrade to your home, solar, $0 electric bills, phenomenal. Water purification, backup energy services, tree removals, new roofs, you name it. You have to reach out to Orbit Energy and Power. I'm a new homeowner. They've done so much to my home, and it's incredible. They've been so easy to work with. They got the best team in the market. All their information is down below. So the loss definitely hurts the playoff hopes. And when you look at the NFC East this week, Colt McCoy, Dwayne Haskins, Jalen Hurts, Andy Dalton. You had 4 backups rocking and rolling, although some will argue that Jalen Hurts is no longer the Eagles' backup quarterback, but I digress. That's not the conversation for today, and that's not the angle we need to go to today. But when you look at the NFC East, I said, let's see how this game plays out, and from there, I'll allow the opportunity and the discussions to occur when it comes to winning the division. What happens with Dallas? What happens with Washington? What if they do this? What if they do that? What doors are open? I said I would allow for that to happen once we see how this game plays out. Well, the loss is pretty monstrous when it comes to those division talks and those type of debates. Can they do it? Should they do it? And I hate this. We'll leave it here after this thought. There are people that want the Eagles to lose so they can get that draft pick. And I am not discouraging what high draft picks can do for a franchise and how you can acquire awesome talent with high draft picks. And now, all of a sudden, I guess John Dorsey's in the mix. Nobody really explained that. He was hiding under the radar. That's what you get when you don't have all of these beat reporters and all of these guys who cover the team in the facility, in the locker room. Due to COVID, you got John Dorsey sneaking around for how long? I mean, that's an absurd story on its own, and that's also some sort of conversation that we can have as the offseason comes, because that's huge. You got John Dorsey sneaking around. What the hell happened there? When that news dropped, I was confused as hell. What? Nobody knew? They pulled a fast one on everyone? Insane. It really is insane. But people want the Eagles to lose so bad for the draft pick, and I am aware that the draft pick can help this team. But what's more important? Finding or at least seeing what Jalen Hurts is made of, and if he becomes something that you can actually move forward with, then you do. If that results in winning games, finding your quarterback is more important. So to summarize here, I'd rather see something in Jalen Hurts that can possibly be, if Carson Wentz is not going to be the quarterback of the future, Jalen Hurts being the quarterback of the future, I'd rather find that and then have a later draft pick than Jalen Hurts be this kid that stinks and he's not your franchise quarterback and you get a higher draft pick. Finding the quarterback is the most important thing. So if that, by default, results in picking later in the first round, whether instead of 6th, it's 10th, or instead of 6th, it's 12th, or whatever. I'm just throwing out random hypotheticals. I'll do that. So for the whole rooting for them to lose, being pissed when they win, I can't really support that logic. I don't rock with that. I'd rather see Hurts explode. I'd rather see Hurts play well, because I want to find that position. That position is extremely valuable to a franchise. If you didn't know, that's breaking news to you. So I'll sacrifice a higher draft pick if it means we find a kid that can legitimately play. All right? So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you so much. Seriously, the support is unbelievable. Tomorrow we will have the day after podcast. Call into the Anytime hotline, 856-442-9805. I'll use your phone calls on the day after podcast and on 97.3 ESPN on the Sports Bash Monday from 2 to 6 p.m. So your voice will be heard. Once again, thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.